What's going on, YouTube world? This is Over the Road Driving with Steve, also known as the Flying Smurf. We're going to do something a little different today. I figured I'd bring you along the drive with me here. We picked up a load in Reno day before yesterday on my way to Chicago. Nice load. And as a lot of you drivers out there might be aware of, I-80 across Nebraska can be pretty lonely. It's a nice drive, don't get me wrong, I love it. I love it out here. But anyways, so today's video, I wanted to talk about some stuff. My wife actually encouraged me to do this topic. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the country these days. And we're not just experiencing shortages of, goods and services. There's a lot of people not working right now for a whole bunch of reasons. Maybe I'll get into that a little bit later, more in detail. But something that a lot of people might not be aware of is, well, they might be aware of it now just because they're asking questions as to, hey, I went to the grocery store and I noticed I can't find this particular product or this or that, or the cost of things is skyrocketing, etc., etc. Truck driving as an industry, I can't tell you exactly when it started, when we started experiencing shortages of qualified truck drivers in America. I would guess around the time the DOT really started to over-regulate, and with the cost of fuel going up and driving owner-operators out, your big mega carriers driving out the little guys. I would suspect whenever that really started would be, when the industry as a whole, started having these shortages. I don't want to get into that too much. I want to talk more about the here and now. As of right now, the numbers I'm seeing are somewhere in the neighborhood of 80,000 critical truck driving jobs are needing to be filled. At the start of COVID, I don't know what the numbers were. I would guess they were still pretty high. Like I said, since I've been driving in 2012, I know the industry has been in shortage mode. There hasn't been enough truck drivers to go around. I think at the start of COVID, I think a lot of drivers quit out of fear. Here we got, what we thought was going to be a potential pandemic. I'm hesitant to call it that because, well, you know what? Let's just skip over that too. I don't want to get too crazy in this. But in any case, I think a lot of drivers gave up driving due to COVID. I think for sure the policy of the federal government to pay people not to work might be creating an issue there as well. But there was something else that happened during what I call the height of the COVID hysteria that, at least to me, was more of an issue than COVID ever was. We had for lack of a better word, I guess I'll call it civil unrest. Not this past summer, but the summer previous, where there was a lot of violence, rioting in a lot of our big cities. That is in fact, sorry, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. One of the videos I watched was a FedEx driver. I believe he got off the interstate. He was going down an off ramp, and there was a crowd of people blocking the way, and he ended up he had to stop. And the people there got violent. I still can't for the life of me figure out why. I mean, why would you target some innocent truck driver who's delivering all of the products that people need to survive? I can't wrap my brain around that type of thinking. But in any case, that FedEx driver got scared, and the people wouldn't move, and he moved them. And I don't remember if anybody got hurt or not, but man, that's a scary thing, I would guess that probably it certainly changed. It changed me in the sense that I didn't consider giving up driving, but for sure there were certain areas of the country, certain cities, that if I had my way, I wouldn't be either picking up or doing a delivery there. And I do generally get my way, especially when it comes to my safety. That's paramount. That is the most important thing. So you have those two things coupled with the fact that, well, look, let's face it. Most of your experienced drivers have been driven away. Okay, the industry is in continuous turnover. The bigger the company you work for, the higher the turnover rate. It would seems to me. Okay, and the training is not where it needs to be. And I'm sorry, the caliber of people that they're putting behind the wheel of these things these days is not where it needs to be either. I don't agree with the government's policy because truck driving is it's critical to the entire nation. Everything moves by way of truck, from all the food you eat, the fuel that you need to keep your car going, to heat your home, energy, the clothes you wear, the medicine you need. I mean, everything at some point is being moved by way of truck. So when you start running into issues where stores are running out of things or hospitals don't have medicine because of the lack of truck drivers, well, the government's going to step in. The government's going to step in anyway. It's what they do. Okay? And in my opinion, the United States government has a horrible track record. Okay? Every agency they're in charge of is a mess, a disaster. And that's what's happened to the trucking industry as a whole. It's a disaster. So one of their solutions to this trucker shortage problem seems to have been, now I could be wrong on this, I don't know if it's the government that's responsible or the mega carrier, or I don't know. I'm guessing that's what it is. Okay? But I'm noticing more and more. All right, let me preface what I'm about to say with, I don't have anything against immigrants, especially immigrants that come to this country legally, okay, and want to come here for a better life. That's how this country was founded. Okay, I am totally on board with that. However, I am not on board with the United States government importing people from basically third world countries. And they do it, they're importing those people. Why? Because they'll work for less money. Okay? I'm not knocking these people. Please do not take it that way. Okay? But these people that are from, whether it's the Middle East, India, all the different countries in Africa, or even South America, these poor countries that they're bringing these people from and putting behind the wheel of trucks. You know, I'm sorry, where they come from, $400 or $500 a week is big freaking money. Okay, that's not the case here. My point is, in doing so, they've driven wages so low in trucking that there's certain McDonald's in this country. I think there's one in South Dakota that's starting people at $20 an hour. Okay, I know for a fact there's people working for companies like Swift and CR England that could make more money flipping burgers at frickin' McDonald's, and that's outrageous. That is outrageous. This job requires a high caliber person, a responsible person. It's an unbelievably stressful job. It's an unbelievably vital and important job. And it requires, to become really good at this, takes years of experience. Years, not months. Years. You know, I don't think I actually became really comfortable and felt confident until I'd had, right around the two-year mark, I believe it was, where I'd seen enough and been in enough situations to where I didn't get nervous about handling those tight docks or super tight truck stops, you know, or going into huge metropolitan areas, you know, and worrying about the route, low clearance bridges, and no truck routes and all of that stuff. This job takes years of experience to get really proficient and good at, okay? And so I don't, like I said, I don't have anything against immigrants, but I look around at these truck stops and the caliber of people that they're putting behind the wheel. These people don't look like professionals, and they don't act like professionals. Another video I did, a little rant about flip-flops and guys looking like slobs and all of that stuff. I'm sorry, but that carries over into the way into how you drive. I think if you can't even look the part, if you can't wear the proper attire to be wow, look at this guy, 100 miles an hour, slam on the brakes. It's bad. It's bad. It's not good. You know, it used to be shippers and receivers respected truck drivers. It was a respectable profession. And nowadays, more and more customers and receivers, they won't even let truck drivers use their restroom facilities. Okay, let alone park on their property. Now, and the reasons for that is people throwing their trash everywhere, people opening up the door of their truck and standing on the steps and taking a leak into their parking lot, going into the bathroom and leaving a big mess. It's disgraceful, and it goes back to the caliber of people and the training or lack thereof, I think. Yeah, you add all of these things together. You know, what hardworking person who takes pride in themselves wants to be associated with an industry where you're 200 pounds overweight, haven't taken a shower in 2 weeks, you're running around in flip-flops, sweatpants, and that's the image, okay? That's going around right now. And it's making the problem worse. You know, we need experienced people out here. You need experienced drivers. I don't know why that's going off. You gotta love that lane departure system that doesn't always function properly. You need experienced drivers to be training the next generation of truck drivers. How else are you going to get good drivers, right? Not to pick on Swift too much, but I believe it's 3 months. I believe you can become a brand new driver, go to work for Swift, and after 3 months of experience, they will let you take new people out on the road with you and train them. That is unsafe, and it's outrageous. 3 months? There's a good chance a driver that's been going for 3 months hasn't even seen all of the country yet as an OTR driver, for crying out loud. Certainly hasn't seen most of, all of the situations that they're going to be in, or built up that experience to where their confidence level is high enough to be training somebody else. That is ridiculous. And yet, that's what we have. It's dangerous, it's unsafe, and it's driven by cost. These carriers, these training companies look at it like, they want to put the least amount of money into it and get the return back. And the way they do that, well, they skip on training. And to be honest with you, I think a lot of your mega carriers like the new people. They want new drivers. Why? Because new drivers oftentimes don't even know they're being screwed over. Don't even know what questions they need to be asking these companies. And it is a mess. It's a mess. And so we have these shortages. And the conditions out here as a driver are getting worse. Believe it or not, one of the biggest things I worry about now, it used to be, you always got to watch out for the four-wheelers, because a lot of those people, they are completely clueless about trucks, what they can do, what they can't do, etc., etc. And they can unknowingly be a danger on the road. Okay, that's without even taking into account the amount of people that got a phone right in front of their face, or in both hands, and they're steering with their knees. I see that all the time. I worry these days. I've had more close calls with other trucks and truck drivers than anything else. Okay? I get these guys that are in governed trucks. I'm governed too. Okay, but I get guys that are governed maybe a half a mile faster than me and will get right up alongside of me. And I hate that. I've seen other guys do it. I call it a drag race. And because the guy in the right lane doesn't want to back out of it and let the other guy pass. I don't get that. That's dangerous. I don't want anything next to me, let alone another big rig. If I need to make a lane change, well, you ain't making it with that big rig over there. And you never know what that other driver's doing. One wrong move and he's coming right into you. I don't like it. Okay, but these guys don't have the discipline to either, the guy who's passing, to say to himself, is it really worth me blocking that left lane up for a half a mile an hour more for 10 miles? Because you don't know if that guy in the right lane is going to actually let you go by, which they should. I do. That's the professional way of driving. Even if it's if the guy's a little bit faster, for crying out loud, back out of it a little bit, let him go, clear up the left lane, clear up that lane over there for you, and for traffic to get through. Let the dude go. It ain't gonna kill you. But as ridiculous as it sounds, because of the lack of training and because of the lack of respect out here that drivers don't seem to have for one another anymore, one of my biggest problems is it seems like no matter where I park my truck. All right, I almost always park my truck in a designated parking spot. Okay, very rarely do I have to play the make a spot game. Okay, I've been doing this long enough to know where I can go and find parking. Okay, it's ridiculous. I wake up, I like to start my day 2-3 o'clock in the morning. I can't tell you how many times I've opened up my curtains and there's some idiot that blocked me in. Okay, and most of the time I get out of my truck to go over and ask the person to move, and I'll look around and there's spots open. So what it is it's somebody that's either scared to try and back their truck into a spot, or they're just lazy. Okay, either way, they didn't seem to care that they might potentially be blocking in 6 or 7 guys that might want to leave before they wake up and get out of the way. And it just goes, that's the kind of drivers that we have out here now because of these problems. And with the country and the condition, the economy in the country in the condition that it's in, with people not wanting to work, and certainly people not wanting to work for crap money, being away from home, doing a dangerous job, doing a stressful job, and it's not physically demanding over-the-road driving, but it's a mental game. If you're not mentally tough, this job will break you. It will break you. You know, so the solutions, believe it or not, to all of these problems are so simple. It's retarded. Excuse me, I shouldn't use that word, I guess, but it's ridiculous that they're even a problem. You know? It's ridiculous. Something needs to be done about the training. Something needs to be done about the pay and the conditions and the things that carriers get away with doing to guys. I mean, it took me, I just recently did a driver review of the company I haul for. Shout out to GP Transco, love y'all. It took me 5 companies and almost 10 years to find a company, a good company that I feel isn't screwing me over and is being fair with me. That's outrageous. It shouldn't be that way, right? But here we are. Here we are. And I don't see things getting any better, man. I don't see things getting any better. I'm going to try and do my part to make things better. One of the things I can do, I mean, one of the easiest things to do, just put the information out there for people. I would hope that not just truck drivers, but maybe other people listen to us, understand what the problems are, and try and fix them. Because, like I said earlier, man, this country needs truck drivers. You need them. It's critical. Like, everything moves by way of truck, guys. They say, especially in big cities where there's a lot of people, if the trucks stop rolling in one day, they'll start running short of food. Okay? And in 3 days, there won't be any food or fuel left if the trucks stop rolling. Or, well, trucks don't even have to stop rolling, but if you don't have enough to go around, somebody somewhere is going to be not being able to get what they need from the grocery store or at the fuel pumps. Or God forbid, you need to go to the hospital and they don't have the medicine you need. It's such a big problem, and I've been sitting here debating whether, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and do it because it needs to be said. The things the federal government is doing okay? In particular, Joe Biden. The crap that this guy is doing that is discouraging people from going back to work it's in my opinion, it's treasonous. Okay? People don't prosper unless they're working. These vaccine mandates that they're trying to push through now, the American Truckers Association is, from what I understand, it's doing what they can to get an exemption for truck drivers. That's great, I guess, but we shouldn't even be doing things. First of all, the President of the United States, in my opinion, doesn't have the authority, okay, to tell me, to give me medical advice. And they certainly don't have the authority to force me to do something I don't want to do. Right? If the vaccine works, the people that are vaccinated are safe, and I'm sorry, that ought to be good enough. Okay? Some of us, for our own reasons that I'm not going to get into, are standing our ground on this vaccine. And if these vaccine mandates go through and people are either forced to get vaccinated or lose their jobs or go find something else or do whatever, hang on, folks. You ain't seen nothing yet as far as shortages go, as far as inflation goes, and potentially civil unrest, and who knows what else. It's not the government's job. We don't live, at least we're not supposed to be living, in a dictatorship. We're not supposed to have to tolerate what I consider tyranny. And that's what that is. And you're forcing people to do things against their will for reasons that make no sense. And you're threatening to, they can't work. They can't go to a shopping center because they don't have a vax card or whatever. That's what that is, man. That's some Nazi Germany shit. Your papers, comrade. That's some Soviet Russia shit. We're supposed to be living in a free country. And in a free country, people can flourish and do well. Right? People in communist countries, or people living under fascism or even socialism, why don't you take a good look at your average person that lives in those countries? Why don't you take a look at the average person who lives in China and tell me if that's how you want to live? Because that ain't how I want to live. Boy, did this go off in a whole different direction. I didn't mean for it to get quite that political, because that's another problem that we're facing. Political polarization in this country has got everybody at each other's throats over every damn issue you can think of, and it's ridiculous. But we got problems, man. And at the basic level, just the basic things that people need to survive are in jeopardy of not being there when people need them because of what's happening. So stop killing jobs, Joe. Stop paying people to stay home. Stop pushing this agenda that's going to put more people in the poorhouse, make people even more dependent on the government. All right? It's ridiculous. It ain't going to work. It's not working. And nothing good is going to come of it. That turned into more rant, didn't it? Yeah. I don't know, guys. I don't know. There's so much uncertainty about so many things right now that just don't need to be. You know, a lot of the fear, it's manufactured. Why? I couldn't tell you. Who knows why the people in charge do the crap that they do? I don't know. So sorry, this has been such a downer of a video. You know, but yeah, that's what this guy thinks. So hopefully y'all enjoyed the ride with me. It's been pretty uneventful. Y'all take care, man. Be safe out there. Keep on trucking.